First, I'll apologize for the beep noise you'll hear every now and again. That's our fire alarm. Apparently, it likes 9-volt batteries, and who makes those? No one. Well, no one keeps them around at least. So we got to hunt the lands for a 9-volt battery, or else it will never shut up. So, this is a video about Pokemon. I like it a little bit. Not as much as I like the Mother series, which is by the same basic people. But, they're not making those games anymore, so I am stuck with Pokemon. And I wouldn't mind Pokemon so much if it, how do I put this? If it was a little bit more varied. Well, I say that, then again, one of my complaints, well, you'll see in a bit, or you'll hear in a bit. But I have 3 complaints. Now, right now I'm actually playing Pokemon Red again. I pretty much always play the first 3, red, blue, yellow. Those are the ones I like. And here's why. I liked Gold and Silver, but I kind of sucked at them a little bit. I didn't really ever get far in those because I always got lost and such. But I recognize that they're objectively better games because there's more to them. In fact, they do something that I wish the rest of the stage would have done. When you get really far in Gold or Silver, you're like, man, I've conquered this region. You can go to the old region for the first game and fight the first game's trainer. That was kind of cool in my mind. You can go back and you can go through all this stuff, but it's changed a little bit. It's like 10 years later. This one island is mostly gone. You have to fight this guy's son instead. Oh, stuff happened. So, I didn't really play much of Gold or Silver. And then I got a Game Boy Advance, and then Ruby and Sapphire came out. Now, these were okay. I got Sapphire, and I played a lot of it, actually. Then I got really far. I was like, I can't wait to go to those other 2 areas. They didn't exist. It was just that new area. Nothing else. I was disappointed. And then same thing with the other games. I even Black and White, I pretty much think is only the new area. Although it's kind of explained because the old areas were all on this island. It's like 4 things. There's Johto or whatever. Don't know. Kanto, Johto, and the other 2 things. And then the new places in Black and White are way the fuck over here. So I can kind of explain, or kind of see how they would explain how you can't get to the old places easily. But still disappointing. I still don't see why they couldn't have some way to get back to these old places. But anyway, well, I mean, if they could go back to these old places, I would not mind the sequels so much because there'd be something, more content. But otherwise, here's the problem: they're all really pretty much the same game over and over again. It's kind of like the Final Destination movies. It's the same thing over and over again, just with like slight variances. First game, it's made in fucking 1994, I believe, or was it 96 when it came out in Japan? I know they started developing it in at least 94 or 95. It was early to mid 90s. Old game, basically. Can't forgive, a basic storyline. You have, you're a kid, and you go out into the world and you catch Pokemon. And you have to conquer these 8 guys, and then you go and you kill these other 4 guys, and then you beat your rival, and then you collect everything and you win. I know, it's not the biggest thing ever, but it's an old Game Boy game, and it was big at the time, and it still is. A pretty big game. So, I can easily forgive this. Relative lack of storyline or interestingness or anything. And Gold and Silver doing it again is but then they added in, you can go to the old place, get another 8 badges, and suddenly everything's changed, and it's a little darker, and then you have to defeat the old master of Pokemon, then you become the new one of both regions, and there's more shits, and it's okay. I mean, it's not really a huge storyline behind it, but it's more stuff. And then Ruby and Sapphire, 8 gym leaders, Elite 4, the end. Next game comes along, same shit. Why? Why no variance? It boggles my mind. Even Mario has some variance in its shit at this point. It's like the first few games maybe it was a little bit meh, but Then you had like Mario 64, and there's like you have to go through Peach's castle instead of through a whole world. And then there's Mario Sunshine and something about the environment. And then Mario Galaxy, and you're in space and you're upside down, and it makes no sense. But anyway, at least they kind of vary it up a bit, sort of, kind of, not really. Anyway, so that's different. But and while I'm at it, these are the same people that made the Mother series. Now, admittedly, the Mother series is kind of fallen victim to the 8 things, and then you go do one big thing, and although it's not 4 major guys, it's just one big thing generally. But they have a huge storyline variance, at least to a degree. In the first game, spoiler alerts coming for those who've not played Mother. You don't actually fight that many bosses. You have to find hidden songs. You go to Magic Canton and give the songs to who turns out to be your grandmother, and then you're able to defeat Gaigu, or Gygas in the American translate, or eventually the American version, of original Earthbound that's on the Super Nintendo. There's Mother 2, complicated. Anyway, the main guy, and then you can only beat him by singing the song, which you had to find secretly in different places. And you have these 3 characters. You actually end up with 4 different characters, but you can only have 3 at a time. One of them nearly dies at some point. And you defeat Gaigu, and he's like, I will defeat you again sometime later. I'm going away now. And then Mother 2, or Earthbound, you have to collect songs again, but it's after you defeat these bosses. And now you're fighting Gygas, who's attacking from 20 years in the past or something, or 5 trillion years in the past or something. And you have more characters this time, and the characters are kind of different. The whole land's different. All these new different powers. The way the storyline goes is a lot different. The way the game flows is a lot different. It's actually a lot easier, of course, because the first game has way harder everything, but that's not the point. The games are very different, and I like that. And then Mother 3 comes along, and it's very different. It's even more different. The way the battle system works is a lot different. All the characters are very different from the old characters. You even have a goddamn dog in your team. You go around pulling these dragon needles. I don't even think there's 8 of them. There's 7, but the whole game's like 14 chapters. You have to go get all these things, and then there's these cross-dressers called the Bajipsies, and this and that, and you have to kill your own brother, and it's fucking all different and interesting. Pokemon, why can't you come up with something like this? No, it's the same people that makes both series, but they couldn't do this for Pokemon. It kills me on the inside to know that some group of people that can make this really great storyline cannot do the same for Pokemon. Now, I heard Black and White had something interesting, but still, it's 8 people, and then you still get 4 people and stuff. It's the same thing. It's also usually Team Rockets, which also came back in the second one, but then they're all, we're fragmented and underground, or, like hipsters or something. And then it's like Team Plasma, this and that, and like, whatever. I don't mind an evil organization, but like having the same just basic-y underground organization as opposed to, like, I would like to see a Pokemon that didn't have the 8 gyms, didn't have the Elite Four. I didn't have any of that. It was all chaotic because, say, like Team whatever is actually taking over society, and you have to fight your way out of this situation and slowly liberate the land from this scourge of evil. That would be cool. But no, the same storyline over and over again. And the bad thing is people keep buying it. And I mean, admittedly, they're not bad games. It's just, they could do more with it. Sad day. Anyway, that's the first thing. Second thing, this first game had 151 Pokemon, basically. That's a lot of Pokemon. And I'm comfortable with them all. Second game had like 200 plus, 250 something, and it was getting a little crazy there. I'm still comfortable with those Pokemon, even though I didn't really play Gold and Silver that much. I recognize most of them. Ruby and Sapphire are starting to get a little iffy. It was something like 300 plus, and some of the Pokemon was like, eh. And then I haven't played anything much beyond Pearl. I played a little Pearl, and I just had moments where I was like, what the fuck are you? And then I was like, what the hell, did Picasso make you? And then I watched a short video of someone playing Pokemon Black and White. Who chose the colors for that thing? species is it? Is it even a bird? Is it a reptile? Is it a missing go? And it scares the shit out of me. I don't want to play a game where I'm being constantly frightened unless it's a survival horror. And that's not what Pokemon is. The basic character designs of a game where it's supposed to be kind of semi cute, cuddly thing, something kind of cool. I shouldn't have things that just visually disturb me right away unless it's something like Silent fucking Hill. Or at least if you're going to do that, make a storyline that's creepy so it kind of like the Pokemon. They're all radioactive and thusly look fucking horrible. I mean, I'm not saying they're all bad, it's just some of them I'm like, God, color choices, please. Yeah, they're starting to run out of ideas for Pokemon, I guess. Maybe. That's that maybe. Anyway, and the third complaint, after all that, would be the versions, which are kind of all is bugging me. I mean, there's always like three versions. Always the two first versions, then the third mastery version, and then all this new shit or something. Usually it's the best version, or considered the best. Or in the case of some, it's like, well, in the case of Pokemon Yellow, it's like more like the anime. That's total shit. Um, yeah, that's the other thing. I don't like the anime, but that's not related to the games. Why? Why all the versions? With Mother, there's 3 games. I wish there were more, but each game has one fucking version. There's the game, and you play it, and you just lost the game. Anyway, you play the fucking game, and there's everything in one fucking game. You don't have to get 2 games with 3 or 4 Pokemon difference. Oh, the color's a little different here. Now, I heard Black and White kind of fixes this with like 1 or 2 areas being totally different, and the endings being different or something. And I guess it's okay. I mean, I like that, but then again, why not make just 2 totally separate games instead of it being Pokemon White and Black? Where I can be like Pokemon the Adventure in this land and Pokemon the Adventure in that land, and they're completely separate, but you could trade between them. And there's a lot of differences or something, as opposed to like 1 or 2. Why don't you just do something like that instead of just making 2 very, very slightly different versions? Now, the obvious answer is money, cash cow, etc. But beyond that, there's no really good reason. Now, when I got into the fad, when it was a fad of the Pokemons, I ended up with the yellow version because that's what my older cousin had bought me for a birthday that year. I played blue, yellow, and red, and for some reason I just prefer red. Don't know why, I just do. It has nothing to do with my hair color. It's just I actually like the color blue the most. I just prefer red. I don't know why. And I usually use Squirtle as my starter too. It makes no sense, but it's just my favorite Pokemon game is just red. Don't know why. It just seems like the de facto version. Whenever I think of Pokemon, I think red version every time. But yeah, why all these versions? Why? I don't see the point. The variances are too low, and then you sit there and you have to spend like $120 to get all 3 versions, and then the next series comes along, you spend another 120 plus, and then you're spending just ridiculous amounts of money for slightly different things. It seems a ripoff. I mean, of course, no one's making me do this. I'm just saying it's stupid. I'm not going to actually go off and spend that much and buy all those versions. I've had multiple versions. Usually it's because I found them used for really, really fucking cheap, and I just felt like getting them anyway. Or if I wanted to be able to have multiple versions to trade and do the old trick where you get all the starters, and you know that you're like, oh, I want to get all 3 starters. I'll trade crap Pokemon and just keep starting a new game in the spare copy, you know, that kind of thing. And if you really want those extras, then I guess do that, but that's more of a pain in the ass than it needs to be. But, oh yeah, there's one more complaint actually about Pokemon I have. I do not know if this carries over to Black and White, but I remember Pearl having this problem, because that's the only DS one I played. I remember Pearl, correct me if I'm wrong, I just remember this, that Pearl had the same problem as all the other Pokemon games. 1 save file and nothing more. Just one save file. Why? I mean, I don't usually play multiple games, I guess. I mean, I sometimes do in some RPGs. I don't usually. But what about other people that are in your house that play the game? or that people come over. Now this doesn't seem like a big deal. I'm like, oh, why don't they get their own copies? Sure, but here's the problem. Back when I had said Pokemon Yellow, my first save, I had so much shit, and I had so many kids in the neighborhood that I hung out with that we actually did all the trading with. It was the heyday, and I had this Raichu as 100 trillion levels up, and I had all it traded back and forth, so I had all this shit. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take care of this Raichu for you, and I'll give it back to you after you get certain items. And it was like this sort of thing. And then my mom's friend's kid came over when I wasn't home, and played my game, and then he made a new game and saved the fuck over my everything. And I had to start all over after like 5,000 hours of time spent on one game while I was at school. It was like in the playground. Everyone was playing, and I spent so much time getting my little virtual sons of bitches to this level, and now I don't have any more of it because some little bastard's like, I'm gonna start a new game. All your 1,000 hours gone. Bye bye. No. Either that or they should have a password feature. Yes. Or they can just do multiple fucking saves. Or both. Save over this file. You need to know the password. And if they get the password wrong three times, they get kicked in the nuts. I don't know. I just don't want to. I just don't. They just. A lot of my drive to even play Pokemon died that day. After that, I just never really took it too seriously ever again. Because that's just losing all that work is just a little bit too easy to happen. Just me. And the work doesn't really lead to much. Then again, another thing, by the way, I don't know if they do. I don't think they do this much anymore, but I know back when Red and Blue were out, they like had big things, and you got Mew. I mean, there's glitches to get Mew and such, but you could get Mew, the Pokemon that can learn any move and is extremely powerful, and it sounds oh cute and cuddly. You had to have it specially loaded into your cartridge. This very infrequent event that only happened a few times in the 90s or something. I think they did this with a couple other games. Right now they can get Mew beyond like really tricky bullshit nowadays in the newer games. I don't know. I have no idea actually. Can you actually catch a Mew now? In the newer games, can you catch a Mewtwo? I have no fucking idea. I don't play these games. I'm fucking old. I don't play new games. All I do is just play my Super Nintendo all day long. What's the 360? No. But you have to go spend money to fly off to a convention thing, get your Mew, you come back home, what if some neighbor kid saves over your file? You spend how much money to go out to do what? Yeah. Nintendo, multiple save files, some kind of password protection on save files, something. In fact, now that we have like the 3DS and such that lets you put an SD card in and shit, can you back up save files on the SD card? Oh, the whole fucking system's fried. SD card. Oh look, I have all my shit that I wanted or had or got via whatever means. That would be pleasant. You know, I mean, it's not like we're on the old Game Boy, which is like just a cartridge and it's not advanced or anything, and no one really thought this shit out. We have SD card slots. We have methods of backup. Everything can back up everything these days. Why can't they do that? I mean, can you actually? I know that the Wii could say backup saves somehow. I know you could on the SD card. I think. I haven't checked lately. I think you can. So, can a 3DS do it? Could a DSi do it? I don't know. Someone actually informed me of this. I'm actually ignorant. Now, I'm assuming it doesn't, though. If it does, please correct me, and I will retract that. I'm going to say it. If I'm wrong about the DS Beyond actually being able to back up these saves, I do know you couldn't on Pearl, really. And correct me if I'm wrong. Otherwise, I'm right. That's bullshit. Now, admittedly, if you're playing any of the older games on an emulator, you can take the saves and back them up then. But of course, you're not playing it on a Game Boy, and you don't have that authentic feel, and you can't really carry it around easily unless you have it like on an Android phone. I do want to do that, but my Android hates emulators, even the 2600 emulator. I want to play Yars Revenge, but it's so fucking laggy. Yeah, it's a problem. It's keeping the save files backed up. Also, it's illegal to use emulators. Oh no. Um, even though I actually own a Pokemon Red cartridge. That aside, where should I even end off on this massive rambling rant? That's about it, really. I have nothing else to say. I don't know how to sum it up either, so that's it.